worked out. It's a Tuesday for us, knowing we're playing on a Thursday. And I know it messes your schedule up, bringing people out on Sunday. I don't really like practicing on Sundays for the most part. Now I got to go to Mass at 3 o'clock instead of this morning, so knocks everybody's schedule off. But we're okay. I thought it was a good day in the fact that it was hot. First day is always difficult when you have the cards, when you start practicing with the cards, because kids, like anything, they're not on the first team with the first or the second team. They're on that other field. They think they're like outcasts, and they're really not. They're actually playing against the ones on offense and defense. So I think the first day is always a little lethargic, but I thought they picked it up, and it was a long practice. Hot out there, which is good. We need to get in football stamina needs to improve. I think everyone's there right about now in college football. Your football stamina is what you always worry about going into the first game, but for the most part, we got a lot done today, and looking forward to going back out tomorrow.
Yeah, Coach, I know you don't like to use the word pressure, but obviously a lot of seniors on this team and a lot of expectations. Do you feel a sense of urgency with this team to kind of get over the hump and make a run?
Well, I felt that when I first took this job. There's always been that. There's always a sense of, can we capture the moment and be in position in games where we can win? And if you've watched us play the last 3 years, we've been in position to win a lot of games. We let a few get away. I've always said we didn't lose, we just ran out of time. That's kind of my statement when it comes to football. I've always felt that way. And we can't allow that to happen. When we have games that we can put away, we got to close them out. And we can't make errors in games where we give other people opportunities. And so I think if we can clean that up, we should be in good shape. We'll be in position like we've always been here for 3 years if you watch us play. I mean, we basically are, we get out in some games into the fourth quarter. And some of them we've won, some of them we have not. And I just think we need to win more of those than let them get away. And we'll be okay.
Hi, Herm Edwards, Devil's Digest. We saw the good news that John Onstivers, the walk-on tight end, earned a scholarship. Just talk about his importance to the team, especially being an older guy in a tight end room that's pretty young.
Well, you're right. And the classic guy, comes in. He's from the peninsula, and so he got here due to the fact that he knew somebody that knew me, and conversation got going. And I go, yeah, we'd love to have a guy. And he came in, and he's been a really big part of our football team. And he decided to come back, right? So we were happy with that. His father just was named the CEO of Pebble Beach. So do I need to say any more? Marvin asked me, make sure you take me when you go. I said, I'll see if I can get you on the cart, Marv. No, but I grew up on the peninsula, and anytime you can get some peninsula kids here in our program, that's fun, because we can have conversations, and he knows what I'm talking about. I know what he's talking about, so it's fun. But he's really been a big part of our team, just the camaraderie that he brings in the tight end room. And like you said, he's played before. He's a tough football player, and we can use him in ways in our offense that can highlight what he does well.
Hey, Coach, you talked about closing games. How much of a luxury is it to have the running back room that you do when you need to string together a long drive to put the game away?
Very important. I always think, good teams have the ability to run the football. We all like to throw passes because that makes the highlight reels. The quarterbacks want to throw the football, but I still think there's a toughness to you when you can run it on offense, and it brings a toughness to your defense when you have to defend the run. Because if not, you become a little bit soft when you don't practice versus the run. And we have some talented players. You saw the two guys last year that played for us. And I think don't lose sight of Nagata. He's a good football player. He's a really good football player, and didn't play a lot last year, but we're going to find a way to get him in there too. So we've got some good running backs, and 39 ain't bad either now. All of a sudden, the walk-on kid, he's interesting. I kind of like how he flashes at times. So Coach Iguano's got a good room. You know, he's got a good room of football players. And they all like each other, and they're very competitive, and that's what makes it fun.
Hey, Coach, Zach Keenan, Devil's Digest. Do you think practicing in these grossly hot temperatures now may provide a competitive edge later in the season?
Oh, I think anytime you can practice in conditions, it just makes you more familiar when you have to deal with them, you know. And for us, I can remember when I first got here, I said, we're going to practice outside, right? Some people looked at me like, what? I said, yeah, we play outside. We're going to practice outside. And the players have come accustomed to it, and I think they use it. They use it to their advantage. And I mean, it's hot. It's hot today. It wasn't like it was like 80. It was hot. And we had a good 2-hour practice. And they got through it. So that's a good thing. It's the stamina of a football team is very important. And I think when you can practice in those conditions, it helps you. It helps you mentally. It really does. Because there's a different energy when the game starts, right? And you zap a lot of that energy because of your anxiety. And when you're in moments when it's hot, how do you deal with all that, right? And I just think that has helped us. I have looked over across on sidelines in games here early, and it has helped us, right? And I'm not making it up. It's hard to deal with this stuff. I can remember coming here when I was at San Jose State, and I was a secondary coach, and we played the Sun Devils here in the stadium, and it was a night game, and I can remember it was like, man, it's hot, you know. And San Jose is in the valley there, but the different heat, so it's part of it.
Chris Cartman, Son of a Source. We saw today that Trenton Bourget is out, foot in a walking boot. Just wanted to see if there was an update on his status, and if he is out, does that mean that Finn Collins would be the backup?
He'll be back Monday. He just got stepped on, you know. Yeah. But Finn would be the next guy if something happens. You're correct.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Coach, Lena Washington, 12 News. You mentioned just your guys cleaning things up to not hurt themselves. How would you gauge your team's discipline so far in practice and just how they're kind of adapting to, limiting those penalties and
Well, that's
mistakes?
important. Fouls. You know, I don't like fouls, especially foolish fouls, emotional fouls. They kill drives. I still remember out here, we had a touchdown and we got called back because of a foul. I don't like fouls. I just don't, because it's a lack of concentration for the most part, you know. And I think our guys know that I'm big about that. I'm big about when the game starts, especially in games, that we keep our emotions intact and we don't get to the emotional side of it. We can play passionate, but when you hit to the emotional side of the meter, bad things happen. They just do. And we're all human, and I think anytime you get to the emotional state of how you think or how you react, 95% of the time it's going to be an error. And we always say, oh, I shouldn't have got emotional. Can't do that because it hurts the whole team, right? And so we really talked about that going forward now. Spring football is done. Training camp for the most part has come to an end. And our discipline, our sideline discipline, our on-field discipline, our coach to player, sideline, coach to coach in the box, all of that now comes into play in a football game. And how we orchestrate, how we communicate to people. It's funny, players don't walk on the field wanting to make an error. Coaches don't make calls thinking, well, that ain't gonna work. But there's this trust between the coach and the player. Because I've always said this, as much as you think you're in control, you're not. Because you stand over here and they have to play. So there's this trust factor, coach and player, right? And then what happens is it goes bad, the series goes bad, now these two parties have to meet. They go over on the sideline. Now the conversation starts. How you start the conversation as a coach to the player is critical. You got to know your players. You got to know how they're feeling at that moment. Might not be a guy when he comes off the field, you can go to him and talk to him right away. He might need to go over there. I always tell the coaches, take a deep breath before you even say anything. Just take a deep, because coaches are, they're angry too. Because they want to get it right, and the player wants to get it right. And then sometimes if the wrong moment of engagement takes place, then you got a problem. Then they're on television. And then people are saying, oh, they're not disciplined. That's far from the truth. That's just a competitive environment that happens on sidelines in all sports. And the more you can control it and be calm and teach, the better. I know this. I've always done this with all players since I've been coaching. Is when it's all said and done, I'm going to find that guy before he goes back on the field, and I'm going to ask him one question. And most of the time, you folks don't even know I'm talking to, because I'm looking on the field. I can't just talk. I got to look on the field. I'm just looking at and standing there to the left or to the right. I'm going, how you doing? It's amazing when you ask them, how you doing? You okay? Coach, I'm good. I said, well, then if you're good, I'm good. Then you need to go back out there and play. That's it. All that finger pointing and everything's on television, everything's on camera. That's what people want to see. Oh, they're not a disciplined group. It's not they're not disciplined, it's emotion. There's emotion running over on that bench in any sport. And then I've always told players, and coaches, hey man, look, you don't want to show our sideline because we're not playing. Don't take away from the 22 guys out there that are playing. Either our offense or our defense or our special teams competing right now, and the camera's on you, and that ain't fair to them guys out there. Them fans ain't coming to the stadium to watch you guys argue. They actually want to watch the game. And I don't want to hear that nonsense either. Just fix it. Get it fixed and let's move on. That's the operations, right? That's the operations. That's how it should unfold. Not always true, but that's how it should unfold. Uh-oh.
I got the mic, so I'll go.
You got the mic. Go ahead, man. Don't drop the mic. Don't drop the mic.
Hey, Herm. Nick King, 3TV, CBS 5. Going back to the Onstivers scholarship, those moments when you're able to do that for a player, what are those? What's that like for you?
I think it's really become a part of college football. I say that, and then some team gave everybody a scholarship, but I won't even get into that one. I think it's a moment for players, for their family, and for the team. And we've been fortunate enough to do that since I've been here. Every year, we've given out 1, 2, and I think it's important just to show other guys that have walked on or however they got here, they have an opportunity. I have a softness for guys that are walk-ons. That kind of, I get that part. Some reason I didn't get drafted. I know why. It wasn't because of talent. It was because of some other things. And so I was a free agent. And all I wanted was a chance. And a man by the name of Dick Vermeil gave me a chance. And turned out pretty good, right? So I get that part. And for some reason, guys sometimes, wrong place, wrong time, got injured, got overlooked. We get all that, but when they come here, they know they'll have an opportunity to earn that. And we've been able to do that for some kids here, which is a lot of fun. And it's really fun when their parents find out how excited they are, But they're still young people. I mean, it's just fun to be able to do that.
Hey, Herm, Colin Harmon, ABC 15. How would you gauge this big picture, your team's overall readiness, and has that feeling of the real deal starting in a week and a half kind of sunk in yet?
Going today, we had 9 practices, so that one's down. It's getting closer. You can players are starting to understand. The conversation we had today in the team meeting was all about, okay, now it's season preparation time now. We got to get ready, right? And they kind of know what road we need to travel, per se. There's a lot of guys that decided to come back. And, they feel like if we can just stay healthy and play smart we're going to have an opportunity. And that's all you can ask for. That's all you ask for every year. You know, every time you go into a new season, it's a different journey. That's what makes the game of football so great. You know, it's always going to be some new people, some new coaches, some new players, new situations. But this is a journey you take. And over the history that I've been involved in this, over 40 years now playing and coaching, there's always moments and memories you never forget. And it becomes a part of your life, right? And we start a new one here, opening night on Thursday night, and we see where the journey takes us.
Herm, broadening out from Stivers, what are your thoughts on where the tight ends are at collectively, given what you and Zach would like to be able to do with them?
Well, I think we've got a group, all have different talents, per se, and I think as Zach is more familiar with them, and we kind of know where they are, we have different packages for them. And we've got some athletes over there, obviously, and it'll see, you know, how we use them. I think Zach's figuring that out. But we're a multi, purpose offense. I mean, we kind of do a lot of things with guys. I mean, we move guys around, and that's what I like about it. It's hard to pin us down. It's hard to say they're going to do that, right? Because of the movement, because of the personnel groups. Now we got to get it all orchestrated. We got to get a flow, and the only way you get a flow is you got to make first downs. That's the whole part of being an offensive team. It's about scoring, but really it's about making first downs. Because once you get into a flow where you can run average 8 to 10 to 12 plays a series, you're getting all those guys involved, right? And the more people that touch the ball, obviously the happier the players are, right? You stress the defense. When the 3 and out thing is not a lot of fun. It's just not. You want to do that on defense. It's not the 3 and out like, oh man, I don't like the punt team. Punt team, no. Well, we don't want the punt team. We want a punt return. We don't want to do a lot of punting, right? In some games, sometimes it's that way. But I think if you can move the ball on offense, everybody gets excited, right? And so make first downs so you can move the ball.
Coach, as we sit here 9-10 days away from the opener, what is your biggest area of concern, or is there one particular thing that you still have a lot of questions about?
Opening day is always, you don't know. You kind of think you know, but you don't know. How are we going to react, right? And then once the ball gets kicked in the air, then you kind of figure it out. I think we have 2 new kickers, right? And so that's going to be interesting. They haven't kicked a lot. Right? We got a freshman kicker. Got a kid that came in the year last year, didn't kick a lot, was kicked off. So that's going to be kind of interesting how that works out, and that's something I look at and go, they're new. I mean, they got to go do it now. They got to do it in the arena with people, and how does that all play out, and kicking is a big part of football. Sometimes we don't think so until you got to kick one with 4 seconds left against Michigan State and win, right? And it becomes big all of a sudden. Those things become big, going on the road and winning a game with a kick. Those things become big. And so how they handle all that is important. And how we look at it is important as well.
Sierra Santos, Fox 10. You've taken part of your fair share of season openers. Do you still get excited? And if so, at what point in the week leading up do you get excited? Is it the game planning? Is it game day?
Well, for me, it used to be when I was in the NFL and even in high school, some college, it was the national anthem. Because I had a chance to reflect about my dad. When that was taken away, it's always standing on the 50-yard line and having 2 or 3 of my players that I know, and John Lynch was one of them. He would give me a hug before he went on the field. And I would always tell him, I can't play anymore, but you're going to take a little bit of me with you out there. And I do the same thing here. you'll see me walk down that sideline. There's going to be a couple guys I'm going to hug. Everybody knows I'm going to hug the quarterback. He walks with me down the tunnel, and we have our little, what we do. And there's a couple other guys. And if they don't hug me, they can't go on the field. So I want my hugs, right? And it's just, that's the uniqueness of the game of football. You know, and it's the little things like that, you remember like your whole life as a coach and as a player. You get that, you know, like you get that part. It's like, all right, I used to hug Ron Jaworski, right? That was my guy, quarterback. So you just remember those guys, and they're in your life for the rest of your life, right? And those little things that sometimes people don't see and imagine, boy, that's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Thank you, folks.